The Pokemon game you're about to see makes absolutely no sense. I know there are a lot of people who want to play Pokemon games with good graphics quality, and I'm going to show you one of the most amazing ones you'll ever see in your life. In fact, when I tell you that everything you're about to see is a GBA game, I bet whatever you want that many of you won't even believe it. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Oscar bro. Welcome to the channel and welcome to Pokemon Azul Agua, one of the most groundbreaking games visually and in terms of mechanics that you'll see in a long time. I have to recommend the previous video on the channel because it's a bit related. The previous video on the channel talks about Pokemon Port 2.5D, which is a game that uses Pokemon Yellow as a base, but adds 1.5 billion mods to play it in 2.5D. VR in first person with Pokemon in 3D in Spanish with more difficulty, a billion little things. It's a super vital project and I recommend you check it out. You have it in the description and on screen. To make this analysis a bit more special and so everyone can see everything this game offers, we're going to do it in a different way. Usually we analyze the post, the trailer, the videos, the gameplay. What we're going to do next is play it ourselves, play it for about 20 or 30 minutes. I'll be editing it to make it a bit more enjoyable for you, so you can see what it's like to play the game with one of the best visual styles I've ever seen. Guys, let's move on to Pokemon Azul Agua and let's go with Pokemon Azul Agua, one of the most visually beautiful Pokemon games of all, okay? You can already see that it's trying to do a sort of super mega ultra remaster of the visuals and overall experience of the classic Pokemon Fire Red. I know what you're going to say. Damn, Oscar, man, another damn Kanto project. I know, I get it. Relax. In 5 minutes, you can tell me if it seems boring to you or not. Just 5 minutes. That's all I ask. Let's start with the game. We start a new game. And can you already see the professor? And look at how the text box looks, okay? I'm Samuel Oak. Here you have Pikachu. Look at how Pikachu looks. This is GBA, okay? This is GBA. You're going to be amazed. You're going to be blown away, okay? The typical introduction. Basically here they don't show us many of the Pokemon and now it tells us to select the gender, okay? Female or male, okay? And in this case, as Red turns around, check out Red's sprite. I think it's a really bright graphic style, isn't it? It feels a lot like an RPG game to me. I want you to pay attention to everything, okay? This kind of analysis is usually very thorough regarding everything you can see. The text box, the name introduction, everything is in Spanish. I think it looks really nice. It's very different from what we're used to seeing, okay? You're going to see now what blue looks like in this game, okay? Awesome. I mean, I think it's really beautiful, really beautiful. Blue is a person full of ambition with a lot of energy. Guys, seriously guys, you are going to freak out. Check out the interiors, guys. Look at these interiors. Look at these interiors. The menu, okay? It's in emoticons, okay? Which are the icons. You press the menu and we have the option to save the game here. We can save the game without any problem. We have a QR code there to scan the Waka Hack post and scan it. A bunch of updates that if you want to see, you can check them out in updates. We can go into the options menu, the speed, fast, battle scene, like that, all those options. The back, look at the back menu, okay? It's like a very clean interface, very smooth, very simple, not very flashy. Same with the trainer card. We have Red, who is a different sprite, a bit more grown up maybe, right? I think it's very nice. I'm telling you, the interface looks really nice to me, okay? You're going to see now, when we leave the house, it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Seriously, it doesn't make any sense, guys. Look at how the outdoor areas in this game looks. My good lord. Look at how much life there is in nature, man. I mean, it seems really crazy to me. I think it's really crazy that this is GBA. All the overworlds have kind of a redesign, so to speak. Still, this has good things and bad things, you know? And I like to be very critical. I really enjoy analyzing things. I have a bit of a critical perspective so that you all can learn too. There's one thing I don't really like, which is the overworld. The overworld is this, okay? To clarify, the overworld refers to the NPCs, the little characters that move around the map, okay? I don't like that it has the same outline, which is the black line that highlights it around the trees and all that, okay? Because I think it's something very harsh on the eyes. Do you get what I mean? It's harsh on the eyes, you know? When we get to a city a bit bigger than Pallet Town, are we going to enter the lab? So you can see the inside, which I think is super nice. Look at what the inside of the lab is like. Look at the inside of the lab. I think it's really nice. I think it's pretty fresh. It's different. Do you see the boxes? I really mean it. I'm serious. Have you ever played any games in the modern style? In Mother 3 and so on, don't you think that visually some details like the trash cans, the PC, the boxes and so on, don't they have that kind of perspective? Modern style? This is the usual Professor Oak event with 3 Pokemon in the lab, letting us pick our starter Pokemon. Pay attention, there's a special Pikachu event here. The music has also been changed, and the backgrounds have been changed too, okay? Take a look at Pikachu's text box, the HP bar, Professor Oak's back sprite. I think visually everything looks really nice, okay? Here we have the Pokeball. You're going to see the animation of throwing the Pokeball. Pokeball. Professor Oak tells you the usual thing here, that Pokemon are very dangerous, right? That you need your first Pokemon and so on, and this is when we're going to choose the first Pokemon. I think it will give you the classic option. Well, you can pick Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, or our new Pikachu. We have Bulbasaur as a starter Pokemon, we have Squirtle, and we also have Charmander. Can I choose Pikachu? If I talk to Professor Oak, can he give me the option to choose Pikachu? I don't think so, Pikachu isn't an option. So I can only keep one of the 3. Well, let's choose Charmander to make it a bit more canonical, like in Pokemon Origins. Yeah, so we choose Charmander. Let's look at more visual details. Let's go directly to the Pokemon menu option. Honestly, I think the Pokemon team interface is really nice. Let's look at the data, I think. Like I said, this is very simple. Charmander is Salamand. By the way, be careful so I get Mega Charizard X. This is very simple visually, but I think the heart looks really nice on it. I think it refers to the friendship thing, maybe? Friendship, I think it could be. And well, the moves, I think this is fine. Apparently, everything is translated exactly, which I think looks really nice visually. And I would like to get to the next area, to Route 1, to talk about how overwhelming all that visual detail can get. But anyway, let's look at the button presentation. Look at the rival Red's back sprite in a Southern challenge. Check out Red's back sprite, it's crazy, I think it's super nice. It seems to me like another developer made a Pokemon game. Charmander's back sprite is also different. The animations is true are the same. There's something I want to explain, which I think would be very useful for you when I talk about the overworld. That is, this NPC doesn't have much of a role. About the outline, I mean the following. Look at the tall grass, look at the fence here, look at the sign, look at the ledge, look at the log, look at the trees themselves. Everything has a bold black outline, meaning the main character becomes secondary. Because when you're looking at this image, the first thing you see is the tall grass, very prominent, because the black outline really makes it stand out. I'll use Juan Adventus as an example. When playing this or similar GBA games, do you notice the overworld sprites are the first thing that stands out on the screen? It's true that visually and graphically there's a lot of decoration and such, and there are animations, but Brendan is still the main focus of the image, so to speak, if you know what I mean. I mean, when we go to any route, we're going to see several NPCs and such. We have a decorative Pokemon, we see the reflections, we see the animations, so if you stand still, you're going to see a lot of animations. You're going to see animations in the little patches of grass, in the flowers, even in the water, and so on. Okay. But the main and most striking thing are the events. They're the same characters, you know what I mean? And that's not always the case in this kind of project, because visually it's very aggressive. I mean, visually it's beautiful. You see it and you say it's incredible. It's a spectacular job that seems done by a company seeking a new approach to Pokemon. That's just how it is. You are right, but I think it's too aggressive. Then you get into the battlefields and all that, and honestly, it looks nice, okay? You see the Pokemon coming at you, they have a kind of aura around them. You see that the Pokemon also look good. It's true that for me, maybe, if you notice, the battlefield also has that dark aura, and it mixes with the dark aura of the Pokemon in itself. For me, maybe it needs a change, but it's very, very striking. That's what I'm saying. If you, for example, look at this image, you don't really pay much attention to this NPC, who has, so to speak, a less aggressive color than the tall grass. As such, I don't know if my explanation was clear. Here we have some changes, like there are trainers on Route 1, there are trainers who already challenge you, and so on. And it's going to be very interesting. Alright, battle against Animal, do Pokemon Ratata. Alright, level 3. We just with Charmander, so we have to be careful because he used tackle on me and missed the tackle. I mean, he's enthusiastic. There are abilities that are updated from other generations and that can be tricky, but anyway, you see, throwing the baseball at level 2 Charmander uses Scratch. At level 7, it automatically destroys it. Let's move on to see how it looks. You see the cities, and I'm really looking forward to seeing a slightly bigger city like Viridian City. Okay, as soon as the music starts, okay, the music is different. Visually, it's incredible. I mean, you can see what the city looks like. Lots of animations, Pokemon battles. I mean, look at this image. Just look at this image. This image is beautiful. It's incredible. And that's what I'm telling you. Visually, I'm telling you. I have no doubt the Pokemon looks great. Hey, look, check this out. Look, new event. Let me tell you, we have Liv here. Maybe she wants to battle me, right? Alright, we got Liv here, and I'm getting Liv's introduction now, okay? She says she's waiting for us in the lab. Check out the interiors. The interiors, honestly, they don't change much. But visually, it's also very nice. I mean, this game tries to mix graphic simplicity with a lot of detail and a polished feel, and I think it works great. The Pokémon Center is going to be similar. It's not going to have a very drastic change, but visually, look, well, I think the Pokémon Center is actually more interesting too, because it plays more with color contrast. We have the green over there, the plants, what it is, Nurse Joy and all that. I think it looks really nice. And we have an event with the 3 characters, the 3 protagonists, similar to what we saw in Anil. And in many other projects, they are involved and present in the adventure. That is, they're going to give the Pokédex to all 3 of us, and we're going to be like rivals. We have the female rival. In this case, if we choose to be a girl, then we'll have the rival like red and blue, and Leaf if we are red. So to speak, we've also gotten the Poké Radar, okay? This Poké Radar is already included in many Pokemon games. I find it very interesting. Right now, we found Rattata, Bellsprout, and Oddies. That is, if we look for Oddies, it will tell you it's not found. We can maybe look for another Pokemon like Bellsprout, maybe. There we have it, okay? And if we press B, well, basically we close the radar. Route number 2 is the route that gives access to Viridian Forest, and it has actually changed a little bit. Here we have the police saying they found traces of Team Rocket. Here we already have a few trainers that weren't here before, and we have a battle against an old man. I don't know, but look, I think his sprite is from Pokemon Emerald, right? The gentleman has made my Juno at level 5, a Pokemon introduced in the 4th generation. This game features Pokemon from the 1st to the 2nd generation, with a complete Pokédex for those generations. But they do include Pokemon like Boss Light, like Wynaut, like Maymai Jr., and they are Pokemon, well, Wynaut was already there. But like Max Latch, which are pre-evolutions of Pokemon from those generations, they also include Pokemon from the 4th generation. In this case, here we have Magimortal, Electivire, because they are Pokemon that evolve from 3rd generation species. I also want to mention something. I think the artist for this game, which is Game Boy CL, I swear that's his name, I think he's developing all the graphics for the game by himself. I think all the graphic assets that the developer is using to make this game, I think he's making them himself, or maybe he modifies some public assets. And he also does an incredible job. I think it's very difficult, really difficult to map and work with such big and detailed trees like this on the GBA. I mean, I'm telling you seriously, working with that level of graphical detail is something that's exhausting, it's overwhelming, you know? And everything has been changed, like the interior of the gatehouse. Let's look at the Viridian Forest. Even the image of the Viridian Forest itself seems amazing to me. Look, it's also a forest with tall trees, so you can see the clearings. Similar to what you saw in Pokemon Blue Legend, which was incredible, and visually the dense, lush visuals are really interesting, there are Pokemon that spawn directly in the flowers. We don't have tall grass, we have Pokemon that appear directly if we pass through here. Something striking, honestly, really quite striking. And I think we can leave the gameplay here, because I think we've collected several graphic resources and several first impressions. With a game, it's a game. Is it coming? I think up to about the 2nd gym, it's progressing a lot. The game is fully compatible with 3rd generation games, so you can easily connect and trade with a friend playing Pokemon Fire Red on their original game system. Supporting the project is truly worthwhile. I share Wakahat's post so you can leave a positive comment. It really encourages us developers. Please also like and subscribe. I recommend again that you go back to the video I uploaded recently, which I think is top notch. If you haven't seen it, or if YouTube hasn't recommended it to you, go watch it, that's it. Guys, we've got lots more content coming, really top notch, and thank you all so much for the support, family. Big hug, legends. Bye.